Safety regulations. A sort of bad term in the Pizzaplex. It was the reason the guards felt neutered, making them feel like simple pawns here to be shouted at by Landwell Karens. The reason the mechanics needed to go through so much paperwork before making any modification on the animatronics, no matter how much better the machine would work after it. Of course, they were there for a reason. And they did make the place just a tiny bit safer. Fazbear Entertainment had its questionable reputation for a reason after all. But they were the reason why you, a new animatronic designed for customer care rather than entertainment, were introduced. Now on the operating table inside of the stuffy parts and services room, ironically, the animatronic meant to be a nurse/doctor was now being doctored on. You were a human animatronic based on the old baby machines from way back when, given a more slender rather than bulky body, more feminine features, as well as an exoskeleton shell designed to have a cute pink nurse outfit to be shoved over, similar to the daycare attendant's pants. Your stomach and chest open, you lied there. Pain receptors turned off so you could be active during the procedure. However, your voice box had been removed, so there wasn't really a point in it anyways. At least from the engineer's perspective. The man had been fighting for months to give you this modification that he was right now installing inside you. And so he was actually quite excited. It was something that would increase your caregiving abilities by a lot. It came in 2 parts. The first were 4 simple tubes hidden in your chest. Through a mechanism, you could then use these to dispense painkiller medicine. Nothing major, just small headache pills on 4 different dosages. And sure, this had been planned since the beginning. His modification, however, would also allow you to dispense candy. Their containers would be safely secured in the empty skeletal orbs that were placed on your chest. They served no real function up to this point, simply there to make you look like a woman. Sadly, these modifications were taking their time. After all, he had to remove half of your insides. And when his tablet rang to announce that the night shift would take over now, as well as him officially being on unpaid overtime, he rolled his eyes in annoyance. And so he stepped next to you, looking down at your doll-like face. I gotta go complain to someone. Stay here. Alright, just a little discussion about pay and workload. Might be a little boring, so just warning you. You blinked and then nodded in affirmation. The man sighed deeply and then pulled out his phone, walking out of the room through the maintenance tunnels behind you. And so you were left staring up at the ceiling. Honestly, you weren't sure how to feel about it. Having your ability to speak removed as well as your ability to move, except for your head and eyes. You were well liked by customers. You had the ability to automatically call emergency services, able to perfectly explain situations you found yourself in, without any unnecessary "come quick" or "oh my god" or "why is there so much blood? Oh my god, just come over here already," that made the process of calling emergency services needlessly long. Just quick, detailed descriptions in accordance to safety regulations. Legally speaking, you were even allowed to administer over-the-counter medicine, like the headache pills that were currently being installed inside you. You had also rudimentary wound care protocols, and could spray sanitizer as well as disinfectant out of your left and right thumb respectively. With the new modifications done, you'd be able to quite literally pull the pills out of your wrists. With the obedient personality you had been programmed with, you were agreeable, friendly, and calming. Well, as calming as a 6'5" metal monstrosity made to look both as human as possible and as non-human as possible could be. This was due to avoid the uncanny valley effect. You just looked non-human enough to not trigger it, while still being an obvious attempt at being a human animatronic. Your face was made up of countless small plates, allowing you to fully emote. The shell pieces that made your skin were a sterile white. A nurse hat was permanently placed on your head, and black, thick rubber wires gave you the appearance of having dreadlocks that you usually wore in a ponytail. Of course, due to you lying down right now, they were loosely hanging from the table. You blinked slowly. By counting each blink as a second, you felt as if the engineer was taking less time. Even though he was. The man was in a heated discussion about his overtime, after all. However, as you lied there, you suddenly heard one of the doors open. Expecting to see the mechanic return, you turned your head, only to be met by emptiness. Hang on. Did your unexpected visitor come through one of the other doors? One of the animatronic doors? Quick little steps approached you, like someone was running, while also trying and failing to be sneaky. Turning your head to the right, your eyes fell upon another robot.
Greetings, nurse.
Before you stood Moon, the daycare attendant's night mode. He had a smug tone as he bowed deeply before you.
Son has been looking for you, and I've been involved in his scheme.
He crossed his arms as he continued grumbling.
Made me promise to return to the light, should you not be in here, so I can keep looking for you. Even if you would not have been here, I would have slipped away until the scheduled blackout. He's not coming out tonight, I can promise you that.
Moon leaned against the protective dome. The thing you had been inside of as the engineer had been doctoring on you. It was a glass metal dome that, on its ceiling, had mechanical arms that could do standard maintenance at the press of a button. Of course, since you were right now custom modified, the protective dome had no real purpose for you, aside from being the brightest place in parts and services, as well as why Moon wasn't entering the dome. Impatiently, he just stood there, tapping his fingers against his upper arms as he leaned against it.
Fine. You got me. I am curious about you.
He turned around, forcing himself to look onto your light-up body.
What is wrong with you? You didn't seem to require maintenance last time we spoke.
You tilted your head, looking into his eyes, but since you couldn't talk, you just stared. Of course, you knew of the existence of Morse code, and you had the idea to blink in the answer at him. However, you weren't programmed with Morse code knowledge. You did have advanced sign language pre-installed into your brain, though you were unable to move your arms, making that, at least right now, a useless skill. Moon tapped against the window when his head made a 360-degree spin.
I know what to do.
Giggling, he walked over to the maintenance panel. You could hear his fingers tip.
I saw Kevin do this once. While I'm not programmed with the knowledge on how to operate the protective dome, I have an impeccable memory.
He pressed enter. However, this caused one of the arms to move.
Oh, that's not good.
Your eyes widened with terror as the thing came lower, but stopped just above your opening. Oh, how you wished you could curse at the daycare attendant right now.
There's a picture of Montgomery on the screen. You're lucky he's so tall.
The arm was going through the motions of opening the chest plate of the gator, and only once did the tips of the arms brush over your open lid, before returning to its normal position. And just then you heard the unmistakable click of the enter key. Luckily this time, the lights inside the dome shut off, and the door opened.
See, I told you I know how to handle this thing.
In reality, he just repeated all button inputs from back when he watched Kevin do it, rather than specifically the code to shut off the lights. Now that it was properly dark, he approached you. With a curious look, he watched over your internals.
You're getting new toys, I see. I'm a little jealous. It's been a while since the old daycare attendant got some good old toys.
He commented. Without asking, his arm vanished inside your cavity. You could feel his slender fingers slide down the tube. To your surprise, his touch was uncharacteristically gentle. It almost felt good even. Your eyes were focused entirely on him and his clicking joints as he thought.
Our insights are so fantastically complex. I wonder what would happen if...
His finger brushed over your sensitive endoskeleton, causing a mechanical noise to escape you. It sounded absolutely horrible, like a computer that blue-screened before catching on fire. Confused, Moon looked at you. His face got closer to yours, eyes narrowing as he looked at your facial plates.
You're smiling.
Honestly, you didn't want to. Whatever you touched just caused an instant change of numbers in your brain, like using a cheat program in a game to turn a number from 100 to 1,000. He then leaned back, laughing excitedly as he slapped his chest.
I get it now. You like that. You like that a lot.
Laughing, he threw himself back to your open chest.
Little Nurse Bendy has a sensitive endoskeleton. I wonder how much withholding that information is worth to you.
His head turned upside down as he taunted you, your face shifting from bliss to dread.
I like how expressive you are. Much more than me. I'm a little jealous of that. I always was. I suppose the healthcare animatronic would need to be more nurturing, and therefore require more facial expressions. I have an idea.
He leaned in, leering at your face as he pulled at a red wire connecting to your motherboard. Your reaction was immediate. All synapses in your body fired simultaneously, a shower of ecstasy and pain overcoming you. Moon carefully studied your blissful facial expression. It was amazing. Even though your body didn't move an inch, your eyes had rolled back, your mouth open into a silent moan. Your lips moving as if you were heavily breathing. Moon then took a sadistic step back, letting go of the cable, and immediately you missed the sensation. It had been too strong. You almost shut off. Arms crossed, he looked at your body, up and down.
Nurse Bendy, let's play doctor.
He jumped at your side, his long fingers tap against the metal of your table in pure ecstasy.
This'll be fun.
He then reached for more wires, almost tugging out a whole bunch. Scared of how your body would react, you closed your eyes, but he stopped himself.
There is a high likelihood our patient will shut down if I pull out too many. We have to think about it. Mind helping me? Give me a hand. Oh wait, you can't, can you?
This little WIREPLAY session had many potential consequences.
We must operate with patience. Yes, we have to. Allow me, Nurse Bendy. Just a little tug on this one.
Two of his fingers, entirely wrapped around a black, shiny cable that was attached to a circuit board just above your chest. His long, devious fingers, agile enough to squeeze between the metal tubes of your pill dispensers. He pressed on the plug, eyes shifting to see your reaction. Nothing. Okay. So this one was thoroughly plugged then, and completely supporting you with electricity, whatever this one did. So what would happen if he pressed on the cable's clamp, clicking it open? He narrowed his eyes further, leaving only a thin, red glowing line. Scared, you looked up at him, and then slowly, sadistically, he began unplugging it. Your head jolted left to right, your entire body shaking, even though you had no control over it, or maybe exactly because you didn't. Moon exhaled in excitement as he watched you. Such an erotic display, he thought. Shaking, his left hand took hold of your shoulder, his thumb rubbing over your plastic, comfortingly, but also to feel more of your body. And then, a mechanical talk ran through your ears as the cable was unplugged. Your body went limp, head turning left to right in a panic. You were blind. He had unplugged the power support for your eyes. Your mouth opened into a silent scream, though seconds later, you felt Moon's hand on your forehead, gently rubbing. He made the noise of exhaling in a pleased way.
It's okay, Nurse Bendy. Whatever comes next.
He stopped talking for a moment, and you heard him shuffle above you. And suddenly, his voice was right in your ear.
Will be a lot of fun.
We have reached the end of the video, and thank you very much for watching until this point. Please remember to like and subscribe, and comment something down below. I read every comment that you write me. But before we say goodbye, I would like to shout out all of my lovely channel members, starting with my lovely stewards. Kathy Misery, Hopeful, Mystic Jade 111, Annabelle A. Contreras, Giovanni Moriarty, Twilight Mia, Angry Boxman, Hella, BitBit, Melofia, and Anonymous Weep. And of course, a big thank you to all of my other channel members. You guys are awesome, and you keep me fed. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a nice one, and goodbye.